Hey pilots, Drain Man here, and today I have a very special video. Today we are going to check out this all new, hot off the press, hasn't even hit the market yet, Eachine Novice 2. And yes, this is the Fly More combo. Let's go. Alright pilots, so this here is the Eachine Novice 2, and it's called Novice because it is a beginner setup. That means you get the goggles, you get the remote, you get the quadcopter, and this drone does come in two flavors. Flavor 1 is $155, and I think you get 2 batteries, and flavor 2, $175, but you get 10 batteries. This is a beginner set. So that means these goggles are probably not going to be the best. This radio is probably not going to be the best. But we are going to check it out. We're going to keep an open mind. And we're going to pretend that we are taking it back to the basics. Because maybe the person, maybe you who's watching the video is a beginner. And you are curious on, is this a good setup? Is this something that will get me into the hobby, get me into FPV, and get me headed in the right track? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to review it first. And then also we're going to learn how to set it up too. Then we're going to take it out to the field. We're going to fly it. We're going to check it out. We're going to find out, is this a good deal? So to do a quick unboxing, first up you get your goggles. This is them here. They've got that old school 3 head strap deal. I kind of like just the side deal, that way I don't look too crazy, but hey, it is what it is. That's what it looks like there. You've got diversity, believe it or not. You do not have DVR recording, but this is a Eachine starter goggle. Alright, so for the radio, this is the model WT8. It is a 2.4 gigahertz. It is a 6-channel little radio. It does remind me of the Frsky X9 Pro, the X9 Pro a little bit. I don't know. Not really sure about that. The gimbals don't really look like the best. I like to pinch. I don't think this is going to be comfortable for me. A lot of drone pilots pinch. Some are even hybrid. If you're not familiar with that, that's where the thumb goes here and the finger goes here. Also, if you open up the back, right there is where you put your batteries. You will have to purchase batteries for it. It does not come with them. These batteries here are 1-cell batteries. They are 460 milliamp hour batteries, so that is a decent battery. Now, this quadcopter, which I don't want to jump around too much, but this quadcopter right here, which is actually very sharp looking, I am impressed with the look of this toothpick. It can handle, as you'll see right here, it'll take 1 cell or 2 cells. So all that means is you'll plug 1 in or you'll plug 2 in. Now, for a new pilot who doesn't know what that means, a motor works off of kV, which is very similar to RPM. When you take volts and you multiply it by your kV, that decides how many RPMs you're going to get. If you were to strap 2 to this, your RPMs would become even faster. So if you were going to try to fly this, which I wouldn't recommend flying this in the house, but if you were to try that, you would want to strap on just 1 pack. If you were going to take it outside and try to fight a little wind and try to go a little fast, you would want to strap a 2nd pack to it. So now your question is, well, what do we do? How do we charge these batteries? Well, no need to worry. It comes with a charger. We have this charger right here, and it does have a digital screen, and you're able to plug your batteries in and charge them. You can power up your charger through DC or also by another battery. So for us drone pilots, we use batteries like this. This is a LiPo battery. It's just a 4-cell battery, and you would take this and you would stick it in here. And that is how you power your charger. So as you'll see here, it is going through the different channels, letting us know what it's got. That is one way you can do it. If you have some of these, then great. If you don't, you can get one, and then you can charge on the go. You plug this in and take it to the car, take it to the field, do whatever you want, and you can run it like that. So that's a pretty cool little charger right there. Another thing that I do like about this is the carrying case. The carrying case is very nice. I feel like the carrying case could actually be useful. I could actually use this. I can load everything up in it and then take it to the field. So that part is really cool. Alright, let's get into the rest of this. Let's see what's in. There's like a little zipper pouch here, and I'm curious to see what we got. Okay, so we have a shoulder strap that I believe is going to just hook right here, and then you can throw your Novice 2 over your shoulder and head to the field. So that's pretty cool. What else we got? We have this here. Oh, so this is actually very important. This is our charger. We've got our auxiliary cables, which are going to be good to have. So here are your antennas, and they are just regular 5.8 gigs. So that means if you've got other antennas, so you're an experienced pilot, maybe like I am or something, you have other antennas. And if you do, feel free to use them. You might get better reception than these little single dipole antennas here that they have here. I'm not really sure if these are going to be any good. So you'll take your goggles, you'll pull off these little red caps, save them if you'd like, so that way when you're traveling you have something to cover it, and then you'll screw this on, and you will screw this one on. So you now have your antennas on and you're rocking diversity. There is no batteries for this. There is a built-in internal battery. You charge right here through this USB. I'm going to go ahead and plug these in, let them charge now, so that way when we're done going over this, we can actually take these for a spin and see if they're any good. Alright, so continuing on to our pouch, we have instructions, which for any new pilot or anybody who's new to this stuff, this is probably going to be very, very, very helpful. For somebody like me, I have no use for it. Alright, what else we got? We've got some props, we've got a prop removal tool, and we've got a screwdriver and an Allen key. So for the experienced pilots who are watching this going, oh my gosh, this is crap, I don't need any of this. Well, you know, this is for the novice, so they've given them a starter pack. So that's what you got here, and you've got some extra props. And I do want to let you know that these are HQ props, and I believe they are a little 2-inch prop or maybe a 65 mm. This is what you're going to break the most, so make sure you have spares. So order more now. Alright, we're going to put those away for now, because I don't know if we're going to need them. And down at the bottom you've got some extra little screws and stuff you might need. Who knows? We'll see what happens, right? So I'm going to go ahead and stick this back in my pouch so I don't lose it. When you take your goggles off and you're done with them for the day, you can take off your antennas and stick them right here in these little holes. Let's dive in to the quadcopter. This is the part that intrigues me the most. This is where I like to get into the specs, what it has, what it doesn't have, what can it do, what does it have. I feel like this is actually a really sharp looking quad, so I'm excited to dive into it. So let's go ahead and dive in now. Okay, so before we dive into the quadcopter, I want to show you real quick. This is the radio that comes with it, and this is a normal FPV pilot radio. So as you can see, that is your difference. You can make your own judgment call on that. For your goggles, this is what you get from Eachine and the Fly More package. And this is a normal FPV pilot goggles. So if you are a new pilot and you're considering to buy this kit, keep that in mind. Just, yeah, keep that in mind for yourself. Alright, pilots, so jumping into my favorite part, and that part is the actual quad. So here she is. As you'll notice, you've got two connectors out the back. If you want to run a one cell, you cannot just plug in one. You will have to use the jumper that it comes with, and it does come with a jumper. You'll plug that in, and then you'll plug in a battery, and now you can run one cell. Alright, next on, moving on to the motors. What do we have for motors? So your motors are a Eachine motor. It's called the EX1103, and basically all that is it means that it is a 1103 motor, and the EX, I guess, is for Eachine. They are red and black, and they're pretty cool. Like I said earlier, they do take this T65 style prop, so make sure if you're going to purchase props, you purchase them in that size. You do not have to stay with the brand HQ, although they do make a killer prop. Now, you might be looking at a tri-blade, and if you are, that's okay. You're going to be a little bit more floaty, and you're probably going to use your battery up a little bit faster. Your motor KV is 8,500. Alright, moving on to the flight controller. It does have an F4 flight controller, which is pretty mind-blowing, but that's where everything's gone, and if it had an F3, I would tell them don't even send it to me for review. For your gyro, we are rocking the very popular MPU 6000. If you don't know what that is, that's okay. If you do know what that is, then you know it's a very good gyro. For your power supply, you can have anywhere between 1 and 2 cell batteries. You do have a built-in ESC. It is a 4-in-1 5 amp each, and what that means is you're rocking a total of 20 amps for these ESCs, and that is more than plenty for what you've got going on here. They are BL-Heli-S, so if you know anything about that, you're going to need the configurator, or you'll probably already have it. It comes with D-Shot 600 on it, and you've got a built-in D8 receiver. So that is the big question that a lot of people probably have, and that is my very first question as well. Can I get myself a regular Frsky remote, which is the remote that you just seen, or one similar to? Can you put this on that? And the answer is yes. Yes, you can. You can bind this to a regular remote. So as soon as this review is done, I am going to unbind it from that remote that it came with, and I'm going to bind it to my remote. Why would I do that? Drain Man, it came with a remote. Why would I bind it to the one that you have if it came with one? Well, that's a simple answer, and that's why that's one of the things that makes FPV great, is that we buy one set of goggles, we buy one radio, and we can bind and have as many drones as we want to either one. For the Tyrannus, I think it's actually 60 models, but if you've got 60 drones, then you can afford a second radio. Moving on, you do have Betaflight OSD. That'll be very useful to a new pilot, because if you've gotten any issues or you're getting any codes or anything like that, it'll throw it right up on the screen for you, and you'll know what's going on. You've got built-in voltage detection. For your VTX, you have a Whoop VTX, and that is a 25 to 200 milliwatt, which for a toothpick really isn't bad. You do want to run 200 because you want the most that you can possibly get. If you're going to be flying with friends, keep it on 25 so you're not tearing each other out of the sky. You do have race band on it if you're worried about that. I know that I would be. You also have smart audio ready, which is really, really cool. If you are a novice and you are buying the Novice because you're a novice, you are probably not going to get into smart audio right away. But if you are, it has it, and that's wonderful. Your camera, which comes with an insane amount of tilt. There is absolutely no reason that anybody should be flying with this amount of tilt, especially for a novice. That camera should not be tilted that high, okay? And if you try to fly, I've got to, oh, I don't even got to loosen it. I'm going to tilt this forward. You know and understand that where your camera is looking is not really where your quad is positioned. All right, for your ESCs, you notice that they're plug and play, which is pretty cool. If you break a motor, it's simple. You unplug it, purchase the same motor, install it with these screws here, and just plug it in. I think it's pretty cool that they went ahead and ran the wires underneath. What that's going to do is that's going to prevent, in the event of a crash and a bent prop, when it comes whipping around, it's not going to smash and tear up your motor wires. So that's pretty cool that they did that. So your camera is a CMOS 1200 TV line. It is a 2.1 millimeter lens. You've got a 4x3 image size, and it is a Caddx EO S2 V2. Caddx is a middle-of-the-line brand. You're not getting phenomenal parts, but you're not getting complete trash. Look at this cool color on top. I do like this. I think this is a good-looking little quad. Look how they put the beeper on the top plate. If you can see that, the beeper is actually on the top plate, and I'm pretty sure I'm looking at some LEDs right now. So that means that this top plate has probably got a current running through it or something. That is interesting. It does. They actually have power. If you look back here, they've got power running to the top plate. That is actually pretty cool, and I think that's just going to be for beeper and LEDs. I don't think you need that, so if you're getting bad flight time and you want to save on battery, feel free to unplug that. But if you do that, I want you to keep in mind, if you crash and can't find your quad, you will be in trouble because you will have no beeper. All right, let's go ahead and do it together. Here we go. We're going to plug this into here, and then you're going to take this, and you're going to plug this into here. Boom! And now this can go into here. Yeah, who's a boss, bitch? Alright, so you're out in the field. Hear the beeping? Watch. Throttle down, baby. That's it. Throttle down. Alright, So that is a really cool feature. It kind of makes this like an on-the-go thing. I mean, shit, go ahead and charge your phone while you're at it too. What do I care? The Novice 2 is supposed to come out of the box literally ready to fly. That means that this should be bound to this, and my goggles should already be on the channel that it's on. So that means I do not have to show you how to set this up because it's already set up. So now I am assuming that I can go ahead and press menu. Let's get you in here. And there's your menu. You can get into brightnesses, contrast, language, all kinds of stuff. So let's go ahead and exit. Alright, so we should already be on the channel that we're supposed to be on. Let's see if they're full of crap or not. Something really cool about this Quad 2 is it is a full acro quadcopter. It does have switches on here for angle mode and air mode pilots. If you're learning, you might want to be, or you might be tempted to, but in my opinion, stay on acro. Oh wow, oh wow, look at the LEDs. Look at that, I'm already on my channel. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Okay, hold on, one thing at a time. So, off the Richter scale, look at them LEDs. I wonder if we can change the color. Alright, now, getting off of, that is so cool. Alright, getting off of that, because if you'll see, it's hard to see, but they're lined in the top of the top plate. It's really cool how they did that. Alright, let's set that aside for now. Now, be careful, pilots. If you're a new pilot, you cannot just leave this like this. You will burn up your VTX. Your VTX is your video transmitter. It is outputting power, and that power can make it get hot, so we can't be too long. Bam, there's your goggles. Getting you against the drone wall. Look at that. Look at that. That footage is clear. I go nuts for drone nuts. Let's go ahead and check our radio. Now we're going to power it on, throttle down, and I think we did connect. Pilots, do not try to arm this inside. The quadcopter is armed. So we have what's called motor stop. Motor stop is on. So until I apply throttle, it's not going to give any juice. And as you can see, woo! She's working just fine, guys. Alright, I'm going to disarm by pressing this one. And we are fully disarmed, and our post-flight statistics are up. So, everything is working right out of the box. There is no setup. What's the setup? Plug your battery in. I am impressed. Alright, pilots, if you're going to fly one battery, you don't want to drive like a freaking animal, then you're going to use this little guy. It came in a little baggie, and it's just a loop. And you'll take the loop, and you'll go to this wire, and you'll just plug that in like that, which basically just sends the circuit back around. You'll take this plug, and hopefully it doesn't explode. Boom. There you go. Alright, and now you can stuff your battery in here. Alright, pilots, so we are out in the field. I am going to take this little Novice 2. I'm going to strap 2 batteries to it, and we're going to take it for a little hover test. Anytime you get a new quadcopter, before you just drop your goggles and take off, you always do a hover test. So that's what I'm about to do now. I'm going to plug in the packs, take it for a little hover test. I'm going to bring you guys with me so you can see how it is, see how it's doing, and we'll kind of go from there. There is no setup. It comes on the right channel, and it comes bound to the remote already, so we don't have to do any of that. So I have not touched the rates, I have not touched the PIDs, I have not touched anything. Let's go ahead and go. Alright pilots, so I just went for a line of sight test using the remote, using the quadcopter with no goggles, and I must say it is really hard to fly. I'm an experienced pilot. I have no problems flying a quadcopter, controlling it, doing flips, rolls, yaw spins, the works. I can do that. On this one, I'm having a hard time even holding and maintaining a hover. It seems like my stick control is either 0 or when I go, none. So it might be something we can edit in Betaflight. I'm going to take a look at it when I get a chance, when we go back inside. As of right now, it is really hard to use that remote. Now myself, I am more of a goggle pilot rather than a line of sight pilot. So I'm not a really good pilot either way when it comes to flying line of sight, so I don't want to discredit this quadcopter because I can't fly without goggles. So I am going to strap these on, and let's hope that I don't break it or lose it. So wish me luck, and let's go. Alright pilots, I can't seem to fly it. I'm using the remote that it came with. I know how to fly FPV. I know how to fly acro, and it's just not cutting it for me. I feel like I've got it. I'm going to go in for a turn and then just plop. So maybe it's the rates, maybe it's the remote, I don't know. So let's go ahead and jump in the computer, see if we can make some adjustments and like actually make it work. I want to fly it. I want to be able to say, hey, if you buy this bundle, you'll be all right. All right, pilots, here we go. Let's go ahead and plug into Betaflight. If you don't have Betaflight, you will need to download it. If you don't know how to download it, there's plenty of videos on it. Go ahead and go to my How to Betaflight playlist, and you'll learn all about Betaflight. So I'm going to go ahead and plug the quadcopter in. And right away, we see that everything is working. Everything looks good. So I'm going to head over to the configuration tab. This is that motor stop that I was talking about. So when the throttle is all the way down, the motors are not activated. They're not spinning, but they're on. You see what I'm saying? And that's not necessarily traditional when it comes to drones. We don't have this on unless you're flying a whoop. My toothpick, I have this off as well. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that back on the way that it should be, at least the way that I like it. And then I'm going to head down here, and I've noticed that air mode is not on. This will make a huge difference in flight, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that on. I'm going to hit save and reboot. If I power up the radio, these should become live, and you saw that happen already. So there you go. If I move my yaw moves, throttle, so on and so forth. And then here's our aux switches. See that? So that is the button on the right. When I flick that button, it moves. So everything's working good there. And if I head over to my modes, this is that arm. Here is angle. Oops, I clicked the arm one. Here's the angle on aux 2. Beeper is on aux 4. We don't need to mess with that. It's either arm, disarm, angle, or no angle. You can put on horizon, which is a little bit in between angle and acro, but that's up to you. I don't fly with this. I think it's a bad habit. Even my whoops, I fly them acro. It's just what I like. So I'm going to hit save. And this is the big deal right here. Here we're in the PID tuning, and what I'm going to show you is here. Let's head back over to the receiver. So here in the receiver tab, you'll notice if I move, for example, my yaw, you'll notice right here in the bottom right hand corner, when I move the yaw stick, my model correlates to that. So if I move my pitch, or if I move my roll. So what's happening is right now I'm hardly touching that stick and it's just wigging out. So we're going to try to slow the rates down. It may or may not help. I think that the radio is going to be the issue when it comes to why it's just so jumpy. I can't get good control of it. And I don't think it's the quadcopter. I think the quadcopter is absolutely phenomenal. Let's head over to the PID tuning tab, and we're going to go ahead and go into our rate profile settings. And we're going to slow this down a little bit. And we're going to see if that helps us out. So I'm going to change that to 0. And change that to 0. We will go ahead and bring our yaw down to 6. Maybe 6.5. We don't want to not be able to move around. And then for our RC rate, maybe we can go down to 95. Let's go ahead and take it back out. We'll try again and see what happens. Let's go. Alright pilots, I simply cannot take it. No matter what I do, I'm not getting a good flight. I'm going to have to recommend against the remote. I'm going to have to recommend against the remote. It's just not working for me. Maybe you'll have better luck than me, but for me it wasn't working. So what I've done now is I've bound it to my everyday flyer. This is my radio that I use on a daily basis. I took this little Novice 2 and I bound it to that because I don't want to discredit this quadcopter because I feel like this is a really good drone. So there's only one way to find out. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump in the goggles. Let's take this thing for a spin. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I'll see you on the next one.